Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of The Hungry Bleak Presents Movie and Series News. I am Antonio Pomares, aka The Hungry Bleak, and this man with me, as always, is my partner in geek, my brother from. I'm not gonna make that dumbass joke again. No, I'm not gonna say that stupid ass joke. No, that joke was so dumb. I don't even know why I said it. Anyway, this is a reviewer. This is a purveyor of fine cinema.
Mm-hmm.
This is Michael Williams. We already been at it. We already been cutting up for like 20, 30 minutes. We already
What's
been
up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Happy to be back.
We don't. One thing about one in all the shows, you're gonna get that good energy. But one thing about our episodes, it's
Yeah.
just gonna be absurd. It doesn't make no sense.
Pretty much.
It doesn't make no sense. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm here, man. I'm hot. I'm gonna say that every episode until it's September, October. It's hot.
Yes.
I don't appreciate it.
Yes. Until hoodie weather, because
Bro,
that's your time of season.
and that's my time to shine, brother. I got that purple sweaters on lock. It's ready. It's warming up the shoulders already. It's like
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
That's absurd. All right, so let's get into it, brother. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Mhm.
All right, so first thing up we got is Marvel's Blade loses Delroy Lindo. Now, this is on the heels of what we spoke about last time with them losing their second director. Now they've lost incredible talent. Delroy Lindo. I forget. I'm trying to remember what role he was going to be playing in Blade, or if that had even been determined.
I hadn't heard any specific role he was going to play. So,
For some reason, I want to say mentor,
okay.
like a
Like
an a la
Whistler,
Whistler.
you mean?
Yeah, like an a la, like maybe not Whistler.
Mhm.
Maybe like something towards that. Although he would have been a damn good Whistler.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I could
Truthfully.
definitely see him as Whistler.
I mean, because if they wanted this to have the same cultural impact that Black Panther would have had,
Mm-hmm.
he would have ended up being Whistler.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just another blow for this production. I think we might have to have a serious talk about MCU.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like on a very special episode of the Hungry Bleak Show. I mean, it ain't gonna be as traumatic as that Different Strokes episode, which I talked about a little bit the other day.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it again. I still don't want to go into bike shops because that
Yes.
mess is wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a serious problem. This is not faring well at all for this production. You've lost two directors now. You have this A-list talent, Delroy Lindo, gone.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw on Instagram this past week, but Mahershala's lawyer put out a statement saying we signed this deal 5 years ago, and he's like, I've never seen anything like this ever.
5 years?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think Marvel did announce that they just finished wrapping up. What was it? Ironheart and oh my god, and
Wonder Man, not Wonder Man.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And which was announced first? Was it Blade or was it Iron Man and Wonder? Excuse me, Ironheart and Wonder Man. Which was?
I want to say it was Blade because they brought Mahershala out at the end of the Hall H presentation at Comic-Con, which, ironically enough, they're returning to Hall H this year.
It's gonna stand for hell. It's gonna stand for hold on.
Exactly.
Hold up.
Exactly.
Somebody should take spray paint. I'm not advocating, but it would be funny as hell. Somebody just puts a hold up. They spray paint a hole up on that 8 date. Yeah, they got a lot.
Yeah,
they got a lot of explaining to do.
A lot.
What is going? We need to have that discussion before that happens. We need to. We need some serious course correction. I mean, jokes aside, we really need some course correction with this.
Yeah.
5 years. I knew it had been long. I didn't realize it had been 5 years. Like pandemic messes with your time frame, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is it is ridiculous, and it's wasting people's time like we spoke about before. It's an egregious waste of time, effort. I hope they were paid though.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that you don't sign a deal like that unless there's some type of incentives involved in it, right? Like,
Yeah, because
I mean,
just
I think,
that blade hat ain't gonna do it. You need to give me
yeah,
something else.
yeah, I think it's, yeah, like I think it's a miracle that he's still attached to this project after 5 years. Now, how
And
much
he's the only
longer that?
one.
Yeah, and that's how much longer that's going to be. I don't know, but I would imagine that they've done something in the background to kind of keep him interested. You know what I mean? Because at this point, you don't have a real reason to stay around if this movie's not going to be made.
Yeah.
So unless he's getting some type of assurances on the back end, and maybe they rework that deal to be like, look, we think this movie's going to be a hit. We want you to be part of it. Maybe they rework the points on the back end for it. Like, like you're going to get a percentage of the gross, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know anything specific, but it's very rare that you see somebody of his caliber hang around for 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, the only comp, and it's not even a fair comp, would be Ryan Reynolds, like, you know, literally living to make sure the Deadpool got made. You know what I mean? And that's completely different. Like, that's his baby. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And I think Ryan Reynolds would not allow anyone else to play that role other than himself.
Yeah,
But
there's nobody who else who could have, honestly.
and I mean, this is completely different. Like, this is a guy who you don't even know how many roles he's turned down in the last 5 years in
Exactly.
order to stay attached to this role. So, you know,
And this is I just don't have words for this. I mean, we'll stay tuned with this, obviously, because this is something
yeah,
that I'm invested in because it's a character that I love.
yeah,
They have this phenomenal event going on right now with the Blood Hunt, which is
yes,
winding down a bit, but it's phenomenal. They've got spin-offs coming out of it.
yeah,
There's a Blade game that's going to be coming out, I
mm-hmm,
believe, in September.
mm-hmm,
It's very hot. Blade is really heating up, but this is not the look. This is not the move. It is.
yeah.
Um,
No, it's not.
but we'll keep you in tune with. Like I said, I've been following this because I want to see this come to fruition.
Yeah,
What I
definitely.
what I have not been following, unfortunately, brother, because there's so much going on. But I know you've been keeping up on it. Is the Bear
The Bear.
season 3?
Yes, yes. I binge watched the entire thing in the last 3 days or so.
How many episodes? 8.
10.
Okay.
10. My impressions of season 3, it's good. It's just not as good as the first 2 seasons. Have you seen any of the first 2 seasons, brother, or no?
I haven't seen any of it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but praise for this show.
Yeah, yeah. The show is amazing. Like, it almost feels like the show is long overdue, right? Because a lot of us, including myself, during the pandemic, basically kept the TV on Food Network the entire time.
Still on right now. What you talk about? Pandemic.
Exactly. And I feel like the Bears is like an extension of this phenomenon in culture where we watch, people who we consider like top tier chefs making food just to make food and also making food in competitions and things like that. So, I mean, the Bear, I think, kind of deals with the other side of that, right? Like being really good at something like cooking and, you know, pleasing people through food, but what the cost of that is in your life, right? And that's kind of what the Bear is. Like, you get you get the food part of it, but you also get the life part of it and what the trade-offs are to be as good as you want to be and opening a restaurant and all of those things. So The Bear is amazing, but I think the problem with season 3 is that the first 2 seasons are so good. Like, I don't know where you go from there, right? Like, season 3 almost feels like it's out of place when you're watching it, at least for me. I don't know how other people feel about it, but it feels like season 3 should have come between season 1 and season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because it didn't. So it kind of seems, when you're watching it, it kind of seems all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like almost like a disjointed.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And that's not to say that it's not good and it's not worth watching. It is. But I think if you watch it basically in chronological order, season 1, season 2, season 3, you'll be like, something feels a little off in season 3.
All right.
And
Yeah,
then there's sort of a cliffhanger at the end of season 3 that'll make you be like, oh, why do I have to wait? Do I have to now wait maybe 2 more years for it to come back? Hopefully not, because I think there was a rumor out there that they tried to do season 3 and season 4 back to back. So we'll see.
Well, how long was the wait in between season 2 and season 3?
Probably about 2 years, I would think.
Why does it feel like that show comes back consistently, like every year? Why does it feel like that? Or is it because it's such because the seasons are so small? Maybe that's why I'm thinking that.
Yeah, probably. And then, like, as far as Hulu and as far as FX goes, that's one of the shows that they really, really promote. You know what I mean? Because it's such a well-reviewed, award-winning type show. You know what I mean?
Like,
so
it pleases both the critics and the fans.
yeah.
And people are going to, like, because they specifically are presenting it on Hulu.
Yes.
Like, it's on both, but it's specifically on Hulu. That's why I was like, is this a Hulu original?
Yeah.
Like that line is always blurred anyway, the way they promote it, but I can understand that.
Yeah, and some of the best acting all the actors on the show are great, but some of the best acting that I've seen Jamie Lee Curtis do in her career as as the bear, Carmi is the character's name, his mom, and the mom of that family. There's one episode in particular this season where her daughter, who's pregnant, who also works in the restaurant, she comes to her in the hospital when she's in sort of a distressful situation with the baby and she's going to have it. That episode is amazing. Like, the acting that Jamie Lee Curtis does in this show is just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I think after Everything Everywhere All at Once, she had to really show, well, I got this now, so I really gotta show out now. Because that was like a resurgence for her. I feel like I mean the Halloween stuff was a resurgence, but those movies were not good.
Yeah,
like the first one was good. The others were
not good.
Yeah, no. Yes. Why would you come to that fight with an iron? Why would you? I still don't understand that scene. They was beating him in the streets and
exactly.
So I feel like this is like a resurgence for her. Like, she's like, okay, so I'm really gonna start putting out this work and quality work and stuff that you're not expecting.
Yeah,
which is usually the best kind. When you see like this A-list iconic actor pop up in a movie or a series later, and then they're putting in work, and you're like, where the hell did you come from? With all, we knew you, but now we know you.
Yeah,
which is what I love seeing.
Yeah, and also for people who don't know, John Bernthal again makes a very small appearance in this season, and again, not a wasted moment with this guy. Like, no matter how small his role is, it almost hangs over the entire series, the role that he plays. And it's just like, this guy is just amazing. Just amazing. He's an amazing actor. Just
he's one of those actors that can, he'll chill whatever you give him. Like, he's going to give you something that's, even if it's like 2 minutes, he's going to give you something that's going to be worth it. And having that kind of talent round the show out.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can, okay, well, your scene is only this, like you only have this like scene or whatever, okay, and still giving it to you.
Yes.
So there's no wasted motion in any of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It's top shelf, and you don't get that a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I also think that would be less pressure too, because I'm like, oh, I was only like 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, so then that pressure's off you, so you can just go ahead and just do what you want.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
So what I do want you to do after you do that layup that's in the back, brother, I want you to
Yeah.
don't think I didn't see that.
Yes.
What I want
I'm
you
trying
to
to be a Knicks ball boy next season because them tickets gonna be.
Hey, bruh, trying to sneak in the back, trying to find a cloak of invisibility, but for real. But what I don't want to be invisible is Domino Day Lone Witch.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is a series that is come out on AMC Plus recently. It's 2 episodes in. I was actually alerted about. I was told about this from Robert Jeffrey, friend of the show, amazing writer, creator, editor-in-chief. This is a great show. It's from BBC. It's about a young witch who doesn't know she's a witch, and her trying to figure out her powers. And she has a grimoire that has blank pages, and she's trying to piece together how she became a witch, what have you. And she got symbols and everything. So she's doing that all the while. There's a coven that's actually keeping tabs on her and is cleaning up her messes that she's doing, and also is trying to bring her into the fold so they can help her. Think of it almost as a mix of Buffy, but not as melodramatic and teenage angst, obviously.
Yeah.
And a show that people may not have remember because it was a few years ago, Lost Girl.
Ooh.
From Sci-Fi. Because what she does is she feeds on male energy. So she uses, obviously, Tinder and apps like that, swipe left, swipe right, to find men that she knows are going to be kind of shitty. And she'll go on a date, get to that point, and she'll drain them of their energy, and then she'll have them forget what happened. And in the first episode, she does this with a guy who tries to assault her. He tried to sexually assault her, and she overpowers him. She drains him, then she makes him forget and everything. But then it ends up coming back because it turns out that the guy has been doing this for a while, like with these one-night stands, and I'm assaulting some of them, I believe, as well, and videotaping them and showing them to. Well, when I videotape, that's a very old term. I apologize, folks. He's recording them on his tablet and then sending them to his buddies at work because they all have like that frat boy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love this because obviously Supernatural is BBC, so this is, I want to say it's in London. It's in Manchester. That is based in, but it's also the fact that the coven is led by a black woman. The witch that we're trying to follow, this young witch, is black. The one that's trying to recruit her into it is black. But there's also this organization that are kind of patrolling witches that they feel are using old magic, and that's against the rules. So the coven is actually almost like this investigative unit for this larger coven organization. That has to bring her in, figure out what's going on, and if they find out that she's using the magic improper, what have you, she's punished. But we don't know how she's punished.
Right.
2 episodes. I'm all in. This feels really good. It's cool. It's got nice freshness to it. It is kind of stylistic. It kind of does this line of was it Charmed? Like those shows years ago. But obviously it's got the BBC feel. It's got the London feel. So it's great. It's I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, it's only 2 episodes in. I believe the season is 6 or 8 episodes, I think I was saying.
Okay.
Which is BBC, I love you for that. I love you for some quick seasons. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So this is another one. AMC is really hitting on it with these shows, especially the supernatural kind of feel. We also have, they have Orphan Black Echoes is going to be coming soon.
Yeah, it actually started last week. So
already. Okay.
Yeah, it's on AMC.
Yeah.
I've been recording it. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm definitely interested in watching it since Kristen Ritter is a star. So
yeah, she's awesome. I still have to finish the first series, the original Orphan Black. That I want to dive into this. I'm watching stuff like I'm trying to catch up on stuff. Something that I actually watched last week, which you're going to be talking about right now.
Yes.
Is I watched A Quiet Place, the first one,
which
I hadn't seen since I originally watched it. because I like doing that with certain movies, and it was
Yes.
years ago when I watched it,
Yes.
and it hit so much more. I
Yes.
started watching 2, but you saw the newest one, A Quiet
Yes.
Place, day 1.
Yes.
How was it, brother?
Really, really good, brother. Like,
How's
again, like you and I have, I mean, you and I have talked about this on previous shows that we've been on, and I think we both like The Quiet Place.
Yeah.
First one and the second one. And there was a part of me that was not really that concerned, but somewhat concerned about them continuing to keep trying to, you know, draw blood out of the stone for this particular franchise because it's the first two were so good. It's like you don't want there to be necessarily a fall off, but I'm here to say that this third entry is really, really good. So chronologically, this happens. Quiet Place Day One happens before we get to John Krasinski and his family.
Right.
So this is when when these creatures first arrive to Earth, and it's just really, really well done. Like, not to give too much away, Lupita Nyong'o is the lead in this movie, and she plays a cancer patient that is soon to not be part of this earth. But unfortunately, what happens is she winds up in the middle of basically an alien invasion in New York City, and all bedlam kind of ensues from there, right? So they dispatch all the armed forces to New York. They're basically trying to keep these aliens from spreading, although that doesn't work very well because we find out somewhat through the movie that they're all over the place. They're not just in New York, they're around the world at this point. So, again, this is a movie that does things that are just brilliant with audio, right? Like, and it's funny because I watched it with Danny, and Danny Danny was almost ahead of like the scares in the movie, right? Like she was like preparing for them to come, and they wouldn't come right when she thought that they would, and it would still like get her at the same time. So it's crazy. It's crazy what they do with audio. And to me, this is a movie that you should see in the best format possible as far as audio and video goes, because that just enhances the jump scares and the things that they do when they play loud things off the silence that's in the movie too. It's just so well done. And we also get our first, oh well, no, not our first, but our second glimpse of Joseph Quinn, who did really, really well in Stranger Things and is going to be our Human Torch in Fantastic Four. He's really good in the movie too, as someone who winds up meeting up with Lupita's character midway through the movie, and yeah, it's just A Quiet Place is just really good. As far as a franchise goes, if they decided not to do any more movies after this, I would be fine. You've got your trilogy right there.
And to end it with a prequel, I think is really, because not a lot of, the only one I can think of that ended with a prequel is Final Franchise. Excuse me, the Final Destination, which we didn't know was a prequel until the end.
Yes.
The thing I love about the movies, even though I'm like in maybe 20 minutes into the second one, is the fact that it's PG-13. And I love a PG-13 horror movie because you have to be so much more creative and smart with your writing, with your special effects, how you do the scene, how you do a death, how you do a jump scare without blood, gore, and all this profanity and everything. You do it so well.
Yeah.
You're very right about sound or lack thereof.
Yes. Yes.
Because in the second movie, when it begins, it's quiet. Just like the first movie is obviously quiet. Then you hear the truck and you're automatically like, oh my God, no, no. And then you realize it's day one.
Yep.
So you're already like that type of thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It's already there. You're already so invested in this one. Like, oh my God, no. And you realize, and then you're like, why would you, and you're expecting the truck to like kind of careen into a truck and it's going to be like, and it's not.
Yeah.
And then when it does happen, when you do get that first jump scare of one of these creatures, yeah, it's such a like watching it now. Watching the first one again, I watched it last weekend.
Yeah,
and I sat there and I watched it. I put my phone down, like put it like face down, everything. I was watching it, and I knew the story obviously, and I was so invested. And I was looking at every little minute detail, like oh my God, and watching like baby, and you're like what the, and watching a second time, you're like it hits you a little bit more. So I'm excited to see the prequel because I like prequels.
Yeah.
Because they can be because they can make you invest and think so much more. Because in the second movie, we do see day one, but in this town.
Yes. And it very much feels like a different way to make a movie, even though that's probably not what the process is. But it almost feels like they think of audio first and then visuals.
Yes.
Right? So it's like. And again, I mean, this is really kind of the hook of the movie. Like the audio has to be pristine in this movie in order to bring you into it, right? Like I'm going to talk about a movie that's not even related to this, that doesn't work nearly as well as it should, even though that was the premise of that movie. Was
Blowout?
No, not Blowout, but
right,
yeah,
I was ready. I was like, what?
But yes, there was a movie that came out around Christmas time last year, and it was supposedly John Woo's return to America,
Silent Night.
Yeah, that movie does not work nearly as well as it should, based on the premise that he tried to do there. It doesn't. Whereas a movie like the Quiet Place franchise is like, look, this is the selling point of the movie, right? Like it's in the title, Quiet Place. So it's like we have to nail this audio. We have to nail the audio first, because if we don't nail the audio, the movie just becomes average at best. You know what I mean? And it's like, again, this is why I would recommend people see this in the best format that you can. So if you can see it in IMAX, or if you can see it in Dolby Cinema, those are the best things to see it in, because it's just going to give you the complete effect that the movie is trying to get across.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, this is like the anti-Dune as far as like the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. It feels like a part of the movie. It makes it its own character. If that sounds like, I know that sounds weird, but I think anybody who knows the series knows what I mean.
Yeah.
But with Silent Night, it felt awkward.
Yeah, it felt like it was an afterthought in Silent Night, right?
It's also because it's John Woo. John Woo's known for his visuals, his just gunshots, everything like that, whatever. Yeah. And no offense to anyone who was acting in the movie, I was like, yeah, I'm good. The idea sounds really great, but I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yes,
but A Quiet Place does it so well, where it's almost like they thought about who do we need in sound, and then they thought about casting and everything else like that. You know what I mean? Because it's its own thing.
Yes.
So this is definitely one to go watch. It's still in theaters right now, I believe. Yes.
It just started actually on Friday. So yeah.
Oh, I thought it was out before that.
No, it just started on Friday. It was. You sound like Danny, because Danny said the same thing. She said when they were originally.
Appreciate that, but I'm like, get off my lawn.
Yes, brother. She said that when they were initially promoting the movie, the date wasn't July 27th or 28th. It was supposed to be earlier in June. June 20th. It's supposed to be earlier in June, but they pushed it back, and I don't know why. Well, maybe they did the right thing in pushing it back so that people could actually go and see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's summertime now. Everybody wants to go out and want to be in theaters.
Yeah,
AC and everything. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm excited to watch that. I am actually going to, even though I have to be up early in the morning, I'm going to actually finish The Quiet Place too, because I'm already invested in it because I love the family, just so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, that's our show. So Delroy Lindo is gone from Blade. The Bear season 3, great, but doesn't live up to the first two seasons. But the first two seasons are like top shelf,
Yes,
incredible. It's a hard bar that you've set for yourself, but I love that.
yes.
Domino Day, Lone Witch on AMC Plus. Go check it out. And A Quiet Place, day one needs to be your Matt and Day watch. I tried to think of a pun for it. I just couldn't. Never mind, folks. I'm sorry. I really, I'm trying to. I'm not a part of the Groundlings. I'm sorry. I'm not a part of like the like any like troop or anything. I was a part of Second City. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Whatever.
yes.
So on behalf of my partner Geek, obviously as well, Michael Williams, he's just sending my God.
Yes.
And myself, Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak. Y'all have a very good day. We will see you next time. Watch something good and drink water. It's hot out there.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Yes.
And deodorant, please.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. See you.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace out.